Okay, in this video we're going to demonstrate some of the Fenix 5X's navigational functions in an area of England called the Lake District. First of all, we need to navigate to the start position. Now, I've already saved this into the watch as a saved location. So we go to navigation and down to saved locations. And then we're going to select Cathedral Car Park and go to. Now the watch will calculate the quickest route to that location. Once it's calculated, the watch will then give us turn-by-turn signals. The screen will go black and it'll tell you which road to take. So let's get on our way. Now the watch directed me here with no problems whatsoever. The watch gives me turn-by-turn signals with plenty of notice. Now we're going to set the watch up to follow the course. Now I've already uploaded the route via a GPX file. Now we'll go to hike and then long press the up button and down to navigation. Then we're going to select courses. And you can see I've uploaded quite a few courses into my watch, but we're going to select Waterfalls and Cathedral Cavern walk and do course. The course is now going to load in, which only takes a couple of seconds, and it shows us we're 200 foot away from the start position. Now that we're in the start position, we can see by looking at the map that the start of the walk is through this gap in the wall, which could easily be overlooked if you didn't know where you were going. Now that we've started the walk, we can see we're on a well laid out path through some light woodland. This then opens up onto some open farm area, and this gives us some great vistas of the landscape around us. Now this is one of the best navigation screens on the Fenix 5X. All you need to do is follow the blue arrow and it'll direct you along the course. I also like to use the map screen on the 5X. Simply follow the magenta line and it will take you along the route. Here we can see water flowing out of Lake Elterwater. Most of the route we're going to follow will follow the route of this river. We can see here we've got 6.24 miles to go on the walk, and we're just going to simply follow the magenta line and the course of the river. Following the path, we then come to this bridge. Now logically we'd go straight over the bridge, but there's also a path to the left. Now looking at the watch, it directs us towards the left hand side. So we're going to go down that path, and this will take us to some great vantage points in which to look at the waterfalls along the river. Now we can see here the watch has directed us straight to this vantage point, which is a great place to look at this waterfall from. Following on from looking at the waterfall, we then take this uphill path, which takes us through the woodland and takes us up onto farmland, which is being occupied by cows and sheep. Now one of the features of the Garmin Fenix 5X, and sets it apart from other GPS watches, is its ability for offline mapping. Now, I like to use two different types of maps on the Fenix 5X. One is Talkytoaster's maps, and we can see here how detailed his maps are. Looking at the map, you can see a gate, and here it is in real life. And the same applies for other features all the way through his maps. Now continuing the walk and following the course, this then takes us through this farmhouse. Now this has recently been converted for residential purposes and is also used for holiday lets. Once we're through the farmhouse, this then takes us back onto open farmland, and we're reminded of this all the way through the walk. So if you have a dog with you, make sure they stay on the lead. Still on Talkytoaster's maps, we can see we've got 4.86 miles to go on the route. Now looking at some of the data screens on the watch, I'm interested to see the barometric pressure. Now looking at here, it stayed at 1000 since the beginning of the walk, so the weather's going to be fairly consistent. Here we can see our elevation is 221 feet, the maximum elevation, minimum elevation and the total ascent is 259 feet so far. Now on this screen we can see how much ascent we've done and how much we've got left. And then back to the blue arrow, which will direct us on our course. So in this area of the walk there are some steep drops. So if you have young children with you, make sure you keep them close. Okay, so we've switched back onto the aerial view for the map, and I've also overlaid Talkytoaster's maps on top of it. Now this takes us down a short stretch of road. Now the path that we need to go on is on the left hand side, just before the wall. And if we didn't have the GPS watch and the map with us, it would be very easy to miss. Now looking at the map on the watch, the path seems to double back on itself. Now this is to take in another great vantage point with which to see the next waterfall on our walk. Now following the map, it does take us to another vantage point further up the stream. And on the way up to that vantage point, we can see this woodland art. Thousands of coins, both English and foreign coins, which are embedded into this fallen tree. Very impressive. Following on from the waterfall, we're then continuing in a northerly direction, and one of the steepest parts of the walk, uphill, through onto open farmland again. Now the display of most GPS watches will struggle in direct sunlight, but you can see here how clear the display is of the Fenix 5X. Now the walk then continues and follows the path of the river again. Now we always keep the river on our right hand side, and this takes us to a bridge, but instead of going across the bridge we're going to continue towards the left. We're going to follow the route on the 5X and we can see it doubles back again. Now this is to take in one of the most spectacular parts of the walk. This is Cathedral Cavern, and this used to be a slate quarry over 150 years ago. Now we continue up this gravel path, and this will take us to a small tunnel. Continuing through the tunnel, it will take us to the main cavern, which is nicknamed the Cathedral Cavern due to its size and its acoustic properties. The main cavern is supported by this pillar, which is over 40 feet high. Off the main chamber is this small tunnel, which leads to a small outside area which is covered in moss. Today the cavern is mainly used for tourism, but it's also used by climbers. Coming out the cavern, we're going to continue our walk, turning to the left and down the gravel slope. And then we're going to go across this bridge, which doesn't really look like it's strong enough to hold anyone. Now this is the way the quarrymen used to travel, going to the quarry to mine slate. So the bridge will be well tried and tested over the years. Now looking back onto the Fenix 5X, we can see we've got 2.98 miles of the walk left. And onto the elevation plot, where we can see we've ascended 672 feet and only got 313 feet left of ascent. And now with only 2.68 miles left of the walk, we're coming up to the highest point, which is 507 feet. From now on there's only 125 feet left of ascent. So now time for a big stretch downhill. At the bottom of the hill we then cross this bridge, and then it's onto some well maintained footpaths for the remainder of the walk. So now we're coming towards the end of the walk. Let's have a look at some of the details on the watch. Now the time is 18:58 and it's taken us 3 hours 46 minutes to cover the 7 miles of the walk. On this screen we can see our total ascent is only 922 feet, so not a hugely hilly walk this one. The barometric pressures remained at 1000 millibars and the weather's remained constant throughout. And here we can see we've only got 0.37 miles left and we're standing by the edge of Elterwater, which gives us some spectacular views across the lake. So the Fenix 5X has navigated us perfectly around the walk and then back to the car to finish off with. So all that remains is to say thanks very much for watching and see you again in the next video.